At some point this year, an alarm will ring where you work. You'll file outside, mildly annoyed, and stand around while someone counts heads. That ritual was written in blood. 146 lives, 18 minutes, and one locked door. 25th, 1911. A Saturday afternoon in New York. On the top 3 floors of a building off Washington Square, about 500 workers at the Triangle Waste Company are minutes from going home. Most are young immigrant women, some just 14 years old, bent over rows of sewing machines. Around them, hanging tissue paper patterns and bins holding months of cotton scraps. At about 4:40, in a scrap bin under a cutter's table on the 8th floor, something catches, most likely a match or a cigarette. In a room made of cotton and paper, seconds are everything. The fire leaps from table to table. The paper patterns overhead ignite like fuses. Workers on the 8th floor telephone a warning upstairs to the 10th. Nobody manages to warn the 9th. On the 9th floor, the fire announces itself. There are 2 stairways, the Green Street stairs, already filling with flame. The Washington Place stairs, locked. Locked on purpose. It was company practice to stop theft. Every worker funneled past one checkpoint at closing time. The foreman who carried the key was already gone. Workers found the building's single fire escape, a narrow iron ladder never built for hundreds. In the heat, under the weight, it twisted away from the wall and collapsed. The elevator operators, Joseph Zito and Gaspar Mortiallo, drove their cars into the smoke again and again, carrying down roughly 150 people, until the heat buckled the rails and the elevators stopped. Fire ladders reached only the 6th floor. The fire was on the 9th. 62 people jumped or fell. It was over in 18 minutes. 146 people were dead, 123 of them women and girls. The owners stood trial for manslaughter and were acquitted. The court couldn't prove they knew that day's door was locked. A later civil suit priced each life at $75. The law, as written, had failed 146 people, so the law itself would have to change. And the person who would drive that change had watched the whole thing happen. Frances Perkins, a 30-year-old social worker, was having tea across the square. She ran toward the sirens and stood in the crowd, watching, unable to help. New York created a factory investigating commission. Perkins led inspectors through sweatshops and mills. In 3 years, the state passed more than 30 new labor laws. Fire drills became mandatory. Doors had to stay unlocked during working hours and swing outward. Automatic sprinklers arrived in high buildings. Crowding limits were written into law. Just as important, someone now came to check. Factory inspections, fire prevention bureaus, the radical idea that the state walks into your workplace and counts the exits. Frances Perkins carried that fire for the rest of her life, all the way to Washington, as America's first female cabinet secretary. She later said, "The New Deal began the day the Triangle factory burned." So when the alarm rings and you shuffle outside, the unlocked door you leave through, the clear aisle you walk, the head count on the sidewalk, that's 1911 legislation. Still count? It's 146 people asking one thing of you. Take the drill seriously. One disaster later, your workplace practices escaping. Every safety rule has a story. One disaster later, it protects you.